Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. It's been a while since I've done a hero showcase video. I wanted to get this one out because I just pulled Belian, I think yesterday, as I'm making this video recording, about yesterday. And, you know, on the stream that I pulled her, I built her on injury set. I was saying that before on my initial thoughts. I'm like, hey, you know what? Putting on almost any 4-piece set might be really worth it. I think the consensus right now, seeing like other streamers, they're using like counter set, some people use speed set. And some people have really bought into the injury set, and this is across all the servers. I've seen Europe, I've seen Korea, Asia, global, all use injury Belian, and I definitely think that that's the way to go. And so in this video, because I rushed this, I did one RTA fight with Belian, although I have I did some tests. Like I said, I just like pulled it, but I'm kind of eager to make the video to showcase that this is the way to go. So maybe this will change your hunting, right? So this was tested this morning versus this. I actually mispicked the RB, but the RB actually ended up helping the fight a lot. It cleared the FCC barrier for everyone else. But it was supposed to be someone else. I actually mispicked there. And this one is this is the fight that you're about to watch. So I'll showcase that, and then at the end of the fight, I'll get into the build and why I think that injury is the way to go. Alright, so this is the one fight that I recorded as I'm rushing this video out. So I get first pick for this one. I definitely don't think Belian first pick is very safe. It just opens up to too many counters, and people can just, you know, end up not drafting book. So far what I've been trying to do is still draft as if I'm drafting standard, in terms of like a knight, a healer, or whatnot, and then some DPS, and then see if Belian fits. Otherwise, I don't think I should force Belian.
As long as I'm holding the spear.
So banning the Angel of Light Angelica, she's too toxic. Too toxic.
I'm not cheap. My throne.
The LQC pick there, I think is a bit too early because he still didn't know what I was gonna do. So I felt that was kind of interesting.
Why not surrender?
So Landia to Maid, pretty self-explanatory with Amelia. Pretty good. I was assuming fire would be coming anyway, but I already had Belian selected, as you can see on the right. So the Rem here is like, okay, there's no problem, because the Rem, you know, well, technically Rem could counter Belian as well, but I was banking on the injury. Last started Crow mainly for Rem and Charlotte, so it was either a LQC ban for me here, or Charlotte ban, or potentially last pick.
If you're ready, let's go.
So I saw the last pick was Crow, and in case he has like a one-shot scenario, I didn't want that. I'd rather have kept him squishy. So they have the LQC adamant shield type of passive. And then Charlotte has a defense buff, so those will prevent the quick kills. But again, I wanted to find a fight where I could showcase Belian, and I thought that this was okay. It's very bulky here, so obviously very tanky, because like 3 knights and a healer. But I honestly feel that Belian, at least with injury, I treat her as a DPS more than anything. So this one I got an effectiveness. I'll be talking about this at the end of when I showcase the stats, but ideally with the effectiveness buff, I would be able to use my S3. But anyways, I wanted to boost her up first. Getting attack buff on her will still do more damage, so I can get injury off early. The Mei Chloe was on the Guide to a Decision artifact. I think that's just to prevent like F10-y. Defense buff here wouldn't matter for Last Started Crow, since he pierces defense. And it's ideal that Rem actually counters there, because I get 1 cooldown charge. The LQC was very slow, but then since I don't crit with Last Started Crow, she doesn't get the push.
I'll make sure you feel the pain. Losing everything you love. You'll pay for your crimes.
So I have roughly about 10% HP injured on this LQC. You can see it by the bar. The red portion of the bar there, it's hitting one line, which is 10%. So you saw the screen, she had 12,000 HP, so she lost 10% of her total there. This Charlotte has maybe about like 15,000, 16,000 HP, but again, lost about 10% total there. Injury set is 6%. 6% HP total. So A Ravi, you have to keep in mind, like A Ravi is 10% S1, which A Ravi right now is very, very powerful. And injury is 6%, but if you do it AoE, you're team-wide removing 24% every single turn you do this. So in terms of like affecting the playing field, it's very, very effective. But that, of course, that's banking on Elbrus proccing. But in this case, there's so much AoE going on that it's not too difficult to proc it. So as you can see here, now I have effectiveness buff, so I'll probably do what I do here. With effectiveness buff, I usually use this, so I can get some provokes. So, you know, Charlotte can't S3, which I'll fire Charlotte, that is. Good thing I had the immunity left on that turn. Otherwise, I might have been death broken. But you see that he can't gain any soul. So Rem with the soul burn, very toxic, right? It guarantees, with demon mode, guarantees the defense break and potential one shot. But he can't do that. He can't soul burn Charlotte either. He can't soul burn Mei Chloe. At this point, he has had so much counters, he probably has enough to generate 20 souls. So, you know, could speed up the Mei Chloe. But this is what I was mentioning before on my initial thoughts for Belian, is that like once you could suppress the souls, like it's too strong. It's too strong. Like the other team can't gain anything. And look at this Elbrus just proccing the heck out of her. You can see at this point, like that Mei Chloe is at 12,000 HP. Looking at this, it looks like about a loss of 25% of the HP, whereas the Fire Charlotte now looks to be about 30%. So with Amelia, of course, barrier and AoE heal, quick turn cycling, that ended up being a pretty cool showcase. Alright, so that was the fight. Hopefully you guys did enjoy that. I know it's pretty short, but I wanted to keep this one short. I wanted to rush this video out a bit, and I think it really only takes like 1 to 2 fights at the most to really make the injury case worth it in terms of like, you know, should Belian be built on injury versus anything else. But before we continue into the build, I want to thank my Patreon supporters supporting me monthly. Silly, Azure, Deekboy, Kariha, Arjifua, Stone Thunder, Torenby, Seanby, and Hippie. Thank you guys for helping me. And I had to give a really big shout out to like some of these guys like support me even though they have no real time to really benefit from the perks of my Patreon. And honestly, they're just supporting me because of me, and I really have to thank them for that. If you want to you know, support me through that avenue, the link below for my Patreon is in the bottom the description below. But anyways, let's get into the build. So I know the showcase was short. I do want to, ideally, hopefully I can do it quick enough, I do want to showcase like a longer, like more thorough, like more fights. But honestly, like when you have a hero on injury, there's only really 2 things you gotta be careful of, and one is barrier. Can you eat through the barrier? And that's it. I think with A Ravi's buff, definitely the climate has changed in terms of how people are perceiving injury. Mort and Ilanav, I think, was a failed attempt, because Mort takes way too long to charge up his S3, which is his injury skill, and then Ilanav is RNG, and then primarily single target, and then you have Rem to deal with in this meta. And so therefore I believe that those 2 heroes didn't really see the light of day. But then A Ravi got buffed with the S1 injury, and that had proved to be a very threatening thing, especially if you understand injury, philosophically speaking, it's just speeding up RTA's frenzy, speeding up by a lot. Every single turn you can get a hit off, and so therefore Belian, when I kind of like initially thought about her, in my initial thoughts video, I did make a comment saying that, you know what, almost any 4-piece set might work for her, speed set, counter set. I was saying lifesteal. I'm now more hesitant to say lifesteal because you'd have to do a lot of damage, and I would rather do injury, in my opinion. So cutting down the entire team's HP versus her getting back more HP, although she can potentially get a heal over time on the S2. It seems that it was just a better value. If you remember the fight, just notice the HP, how fast it drops, the total HP that is, and a lot of heroes really rely on total HP for their kit. So like, you know, some true damage heroes are like Dark Corvus, Blue Crow, Blast Rider Crow, A Ravi, and then healers on top of that too. So injury set ends up being, I think it's going to be the go-to set for Belian, especially one of Belian's hardest counters is Rowana. And since she doesn't miss Rowana, getting injury onto a Rowana team is going to be very, very impactful. Of course, I'm not saying that she's unstoppable. She does have her own counters. But actually, you know what? I'll just show a bit more. I think I have 3 fights in total. So like this one. So this one, this player picked Belian first, right? First pick. I don't know about Belian first pick unless you're really good at like you have a very clear vision on how you want to take out your opponent. But I mean, yeah, I guess he left Spectenny. He's just saying that, okay, no Spectenny will be chosen here. Last Rider Crow is decent into her. I want to say like 100%, but I got the first pick. I chose FCC, very solid. Landy is kind of a hard counter to her, especially if you rely on Elbrus Ritual Sword or counter set and stuff like that. So and then she self buffs and stuff like that. So like Landy ends up kind of just out cycling, doing damage to Belian. Not the best. SSB I chose there. SSB is also pretty strong to Belian. Belian feeds SSB. And if SSB was on injury, which that's one of my goals right now, is to make it on injury, then I would probably do that. This one, yeah, I used Belian. Like I said, the Avodrid there, yeah, cut through the barrier, and then it just could not hold up. I had 2 injury heroes. Everybody had like 50% or less HP. I had no protection, no healer. So it was just like literally A Ravi self-sustain. Belian, I think I had a couple heal over time. And then RB died twice, so my A Ravi was stacked. And then my Landy is on lifesteal, so I didn't really need a healer for that fight. One quick show on the Gildor too. So I mean, just remember how good, like. So I think this player, for example, forgot that Belian cancels out book, so he brought a Pavel. This one, because I would believe that it's because my Belian's on injury, that the Dark Corvus could not basically one-shot my Violet. My Violet is 20,000 HP. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not quite sure. But those are just presumptions. Anyways, back to the build. So do my stats look good? No, I don't think so. I honestly think that there's a lot of missing stats here, because if you look at this, there's too much emphasis on the attack. Now, ideally, she's a HP scaling bruiser, so you kind of want to get like some of that more into the crit damage, if anything. But in my case, I need more crit rate. This one as well. I honestly, I only 90 these out of desperation because I do not have any more injury set. That I don't think I have any injury sets left. I farmed all for pen sets and stuff, but I don't think I have, like, yeah, like there's not much here. Like this one maybe, but it's kind of low. Maybe for an SSB in the future. And these ones are attack, so they're not that good. I'm not even done rolling them. So yeah, so ends up being that the injury set is something I'm chasing now. I probably won't be using conversion for that yet, but definitely crafting. I wouldn't mind getting a decent injury piece. One of my earlier theory crafts, I'll just include this in this video, I mean, take it for free, I guess, is that I believe that if you have a really good injury set that fits Mort, I think that can work too, because the Mort has 30% counter innate now in the S2, and if he has on Elbrus, His S1 does hit like weaker, but it's just the fact that he can put more pressure. So he has the injury S1 with Death Break on the S1, and then he has injury on S3. That might not be super viable. I definitely don't think that's the thing I want to chase the most. I think the next one I'll probably want is injury set SSB on Bloodstone. And you show the stats again. Like the crit rate's pretty good there, right? But like it's not ideal. Ideally she should be on a crit rate neck, and it would give me more stats overall. And she definitely needs it. The boot's not even that good. So I mean, I think the only like really salvageable piece is this ring is carrying this. This is pretty good. The helmet with the crit rate, crit damage, maybe something like SSB in the future too. I'll have to see. But this definitely could use like, you know, if I go crit rate neck, it could use like more speed, more health, and then crit damage. And then this is the crit damage neck. So I don't believe I need that much crit damage. I think 240 is enough, but if I can get more speed or more bulk, that'd be great. One thing you do have to keep in mind is that when you want to activate the second attack, the extra attack called Incursion, this is what could trigger Rowana. It's a 35% rate to do it. You can soul burn for 100%, but it only activates on her own turn, so you can't Elbrus into this. So it's kind of like, it's not like Archdemon Shadow or like anything like a Green Charles or anything like that. You can't Elbrus into the extra attack, which I think they did it right, because if they allowed it, injury would even have more value. But yeah, but if you do the incursion, 35%, it says 35%, it seems like it's pretty high, but it doesn't happen a lot. I can tell from experience. I tested her out in arena offense before I even brought her into RTA, just to see like, can I start actually applying injury quick enough. Like that was my stress test. I did it in arena first, and I was confident that this would work. And then let's see here, and then yeah, if you do incursion, it has a 100% chance in terms of proc rate, decreased speed, and then hit down, which is really good. Of course, this is like her major primary damage skill, so I did max this. For injury, you want to have as much damage as possible. This is a 1-turn cooldown. In a fight where I would require her to be on injury, most of the time I would probably most likely only be doing soul burning S1, or maybe this on a turn where, you know, maybe I have an effectiveness buff. So the S2 is also very nice. It grants you at the start of the turn, grants you one of the random buffs. The increased heal, the continuous heal, is very nice. It's like, especially if you have high HP, it's very nice. So sometimes what I do, based on my Belian, is that if it's effectiveness, and let's say there's like a May Chloe and then no immunity or something like that, if it's effectiveness buff, I'll do this for the S3 for the provoke. And then although provoking for an injury set one is kind of questionable, because ideally if it was on counter, then the provoke would make more sense because you can get more hits off. So this is really for me to have an opportunity to take away some of the damage maybe from other targets, and I can apply a defense buff. So that's kind of how I've been using her. It's like which, like, you don't have a opportunity to change targets. It's all AoE damage anyway. So it's more of like, which skill do I use? Do I use the S1 or do I use the S3? And I so far it's like, if I have the crit rate, because my crit rate is scuffed 70, if I have the crit rate, I go soul burn S1, so I get double hit. But then if I get effectiveness, if I hold my S3, then I'll do this. But so far, really liking Belian. I reacted really negatively to Belian's release, just because I still think that suppressing souls by 100% is utterly broken. I think that if they wanted to like nerf Toggle Hall or have like an effect, they should have done that, like saying that like at the start of the battle it removes it for 100% or something, and then after, you know, souls are gained at 50% or something like that. I feel like that would make her more fair, but then I guess that would make her less fun. So obviously if you're a player that relies on book a lot, like Spectenny, I know a lot of people are converting her out of it, or they're just, you know, choosing to ban. The issue with Belian is that even if you have a lot of souls, banning her might not be the right choice, right? Just, you know how World Arena is, you know how RTA is, like, the ban, they can trick you, right? There's always this a dilemma. That's ideally what you want to do when you're drafting anyways. You want to put them into a dilemma. Which one are they gonna ban? And sometimes banning her is not an option, right? So I think in the fights that she was let through, they think that she wouldn't do much, but she ended up carrying the fight. So yeah. So I have one more imprint left, and I'll just have to wait for my gold transmit stone for that. So ideally, I'll just showcase on a crit rate neck what that would look like. Although I don't have one that would fit this. Again, I only have 4 pieces of injury, and those are the 4. So right now I do not have much flexibility. Like, there's no health on this one. I mean, the defense looks pretty good here. I would still want more HP, but then I would need other pieces that give me crit damage. So yeah, there's much more farming now. I definitely think that if you're not sold on KD's farming yet, I think with Belian's release and now other heroes that could benefit from it, just keep that in mind, that your KD's hunt may start serving more value as you have more heroes to chase on KD's builds. So far, I know, even myself, I was late to the game in terms of farming KD's for pen set, but now farming KD's, getting pen sets is like way easier. So a lot of my heroes are on pen set now. Very good. If you guys want a video on what I do for C13, definitely search it up on YouTube. It's a slower run, my C13 run that is, but it's very consistent. So definitely check that out. Anyways, that's it for this showcase for Belian. Very excited to get her, and I think she's a really fun hero so far. And as I'm going to end this here, if you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.